Well, that term was really defined, well, coined by my other partner that's in the group, Schoolboy Q. We just really just stamped it as we, continue to grow as artists and as a crew. It really just represents, being yourself and really standing for something and identifying with that. When you think of Hippy, you think of empowerment, and peace within yourself. And we bring that same energy inside the record business. And that's how we feel. We're unruly, we do what we want. And we're not really confined by any rules that, particularly play in the game. Everything that's traditional, we do what we feel on record. I wrote that song in the perspective of being 16 years old, so I knew who Martin Luther King was then, but, in our life, we didn't know how much of an impact he made, so I would say Martin Luther King had a dream, and, you knew the dream he stood for, but being 16, the dream we stood for was money, power, sex, drugs, murder, and things like that. So that was the perspective of that, being in the mindset of a 16-year-old kid. And now that as I grew older, I matured a lot more. I understand what he really represented, peace and unity and love and prosperity. And you can hear that in my music now, when you trickle down the lines and hear records like Real or Sing About Me or even Compton, them songs represents that, coming from out of a negative place and doing something positive, the same way he wanted the world to do. Before Isley Brothers, Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, Temptations, Stylistics, Commodores. They played a lot of oldies, and I think all of them would, if they did anything, all of them did anything, is really just put some type of a warm feeling around the house, to make it feel like it was more of a connection. They were speaking on real situations in them type of songs. I speak on real situations in my songs. I think that's the main thing that really inspired me to do what I'm doing today. The idea was actually brought to me by the producer by the name of Scoop DeVille. He came with the actual instrumental, and immediately I got inspired, just off the feel of where the song came from and who Janet is. I just really want to make it that much more unique today. So I had to come with a nice concept and something that just felt good, not too over the top, but just keep it in the vein where she had it, but in 2013. So I really just got inspired from what she did and from, that great song. It's a beautiful song. Michael always been an icon in my eyes. Michael was somebody, he was so far. It seemed like he was almost unreal. As a kid, you only watched this dude on TV and knowing him your whole life. That's kind of a weird situation for a person you never seen in real life. So, and now that the fact that he's passed and I won't get to see him in the human flesh, it's even more of an illusion almost. So he was definitely a huge inspiration. On anybody. It'd be one person lying saying Mike wasn't an influence on him. Sometimes in some records, I'm not just one thing on one particular album. Really, I'm just a human being, just on the record. So I display all these emotions. I display the emotions of, social awareness. I display emotions of depression, happiness, concern, defeat, prosperity, all in one album, and I think that's what really makes up who I am, the fact that people can actually connect with me, not just on a scale that they don't know about. Some people don't know about activists, or doing that inside the community, but they know about, feeling down and feeling depressed on one record. So I think that's why they connect with me, because, there's so many levels, that represents who I am as a person through music. It's definitely a huge inspiration, just to know where we came from and the positivity that, I'm doing now for my generation. I'm sure that my ancestors would be very proud for me to be representing us in a positive light and not in a negative light. So many people in my race and in my culture, is in prison or dead because they made the wrong routes. But me being a young person actually doing some type of positivity and putting that light out there, for more minorities in the urban community, I'm sure they'd be proud, and I represent that confidently. Yeah, eventually, definitely a brand that can last forever, not a brand that's trendy, something that's that'll be here 1 minute and be gone just because how hot it is at the moment. I want a brand that can last forever. When you think of people like Jay-Z, or you think of people like Dr. Dre, they have long-term brands. Dre been in the game 30 years. Jay is almost 20 years. And the brand they solidified is something that's stuck. With the people, something they can believe in. So that take years of developing. I got to master the music first before I jump off into that aspect, the same way they did.